Hello, good evening. Welcome back to Digital Income Night School. We are live. This is week 2, night 9, and today is Thursday. Thursday is Digital Marketing Questions Answered. My name is Shika. I've made over $500,000 online with digital products and affiliate marketing, and I help beginners build their very first digital income stream from scratch. If you're new here, very warm welcome to you. You've joined us on one of the best nights of the week because tonight I'm not really going to be teaching, I'm answering your questions. So this week we've covered quite a lot of ground. On Monday, I talked about the 5 reasons most people never make money online and how you can fix them. On Tuesday, we talked about the one thing that determines whether your digital product is actually going to sell or is going to get ignored. And the 3 questions that every buyer is silently asking before they actually reach for their card and make a purchase. Wednesday, I talked about how to sell before you build anything and how to get your first sale, even if you have 0 social media followers, okay, by borrowing someone else's audience. And this evening, we're going to talk about the questions that have been on your mind since Monday. So the ones that perhaps you've been too embarrassed to ask, you didn't want to ask them in a Facebook group so everybody would know you were a complete beginner. The ones that if you Google, depending on the day of the week that you Google, you might get 10 different answers. The ones that make you feel like everybody else knows how to do this except you. Okay, so I want you to know that you are not alone. And this evening, we're going to answer all those questions. So if you're here with us live, then please drop a hello in the chat and tell me where you're joining us from this evening. I want to see who is actually live with us in the room. All right, so as you're coming in, drop where you're joining us from, where you are, where you're based right now, so I know where everybody's joining from. All right, so let's get into what I have for this evening. So I've gathered questions from different places, and this evening I have 5 questions lined up. The 5 that I get asked most often when somebody is trying to build their first digital income stream online. But before we get into the exact questions, a quick word for everybody who is joining us for the very first time. So if you have not yet registered for night school, then there's a link that is showing up on the screen right now. I would ask you to please register. You just have to put your name and email in. And when you do that, you're actually registered for night school and you get reminders in your inbox every time we're going live. But also, even just as important, you also get my AI niche finder guide. You get that instantly in your inbox. And what that does is, if you're watching me, you want to get started with digital marketing, but you don't know what you could sell online. You don't know, what do you know that you could package that people would actually pay for? This guide shows you how to find your profitable idea in under 15 minutes. And you need to find your idea, because how was I going to create your digital product if you don't know what you're going to create? So this is the first step, all right? And you can get it in 30 seconds, or let's just put your name and email in the sign up page and you'll get that, okay? So let me take that off the screen. Yeah. All right, so question 1, what is the difference between digital marketing and selling digital products, and do I need both? Okay, what's the difference between digital marketing and digital products, and do I need both? So this question trips up almost every beginner because people use these terms interchangeably and they are not the same thing. So let me give you the simplest, clearest distinction that I can come up with. Okay, so digital marketing is how you get people to find you and your offer online. So it's the content you're creating, the social media posts, your YouTube videos, your Instagram, TikTok, the emails that you send, maybe the ads that you might eventually run. All of that is classified as digital marketing. You are marketing your product online. So the digital is just that it's online. Okay, so it's the pathways, the road that brings people to your door. Then selling digital products is what happens when they walk through that door. So your digital product could be an ebook, a template, a mini course, a guide, a checklist. That is the digital product. That is a product that solves a problem for somebody, but it's a digital product, something that they can buy online and either consume online, or if it's like a PDF or an ebook, they can actually print it. But usually something that's consumed online. So do you need both? Yes, but you don't need both at the same time. and not in the order that most people try to do it. So here's the mistake that I see quite often with beginners. So somebody decides that they want to make money online, and maybe they spend a couple of months trying to figure out what their strategy is going to be before they even have a product. They are worried about having a lot of followers and building a social media brand. So what when you do that, what you're doing is you are building the road before you know where the road is going. You've put the cart before the horse. The best way to do it is to build the product first, even if it's a simple one. And I've talked a lot about what type of product to build. So if you're joining us, then watch some of the previous lives, watch some of my YouTube videos. I go into quite detail about what product you can create. So build the product first, even if it's a simple one, and then your marketing has a destination. If you remember what I said about marketing, is driving people to your digital product. So if you if where are you sending the people to if you don't know what that destination is? All right. So on Monday I talked about having one product, one platform, and making your first sale. The marketing is supposed to work around the product, not the other way around. Okay. So this is what I want you to take away from this question. You don't need to master digital marketing to get your first sale. You need a product that solves a problem for somebody. So a clear promise of what they'll get when they buy your product. And you need one person, especially I'm talking to beginners, okay? I'm talking to beginners. And you need one person in your warm network who can say yes, or who will say yes to buying your first product. See, that one is not digital marketing. That's like having a conversation with people who already know you. The marketing to strangers, that can come later. But you can have small, intimate conversations with people who already know you and sell your first digital product. Okay. So hello to everybody who's watching us live. Hi to Nana from Accra, Ghana. My top fan. Thank you for joining us. So drop a question in the chat if what I just explained got clearer for you. Okay, so the difference between a digital product and digital marketing. I hope that was clear enough. If you have follow-on questions, please type them up and I'll get to them. So the second question is, how do I get people to trust me online if nobody knows who I am yet? So I've just told you, don't build your marketing before your products. So now you've built your product. How are you going to get people to trust you if nobody knows who you are? So this is the question that is sort of underneath almost every other question. Because even if somebody figures out their niche and they build their product and they set up a simple way for people to buy, they will still hit this wall. How do I get a complete stranger to trust me enough to hand over their money? Okay. And let me tell you the honest answer. You might guess it if you've been listening to me, because this is genuinely what I believe is the best way for beginners to get started. The honest answer is you don't start with strangers. Don't start with strangers. We covered this on Monday, and I want to come back to it this evening because it's very important. You see, trust is not built through follower counts. Trust is built through proximity and proof. Proximity meaning that like people who already know you, your existing network, your WhatsApp contacts, your phone contacts, your former colleagues, your whatever social community you're part of, whether it's church or play football on Sundays or whatever it is, yoga, who do you go swimming with, who do you go running with? That's your network. Okay, people who already have some sort of a baseline of trust in you as a person before they even know what you are selling. You see, because those people, they don't need to be convinced that you are credible. What they already believe that you are. What they need is to be told what you are selling and how it can help them. And if they have the problem that your digital product solves, then it's easier for them to say yes, because they already have that underlying trust in you. Okay, and that's how you make your first sale. That's how you make your first couple of sales. Then when you've made your first sale from somebody in your existing network, that's when you generate proof. You see, because once you have one client who gets a result, even if it's a small result, because your digital product is solving a small problem, that story, that testimonial, that result, that then becomes your trust engine that will convince strangers who will come after. I hope that's making sense. So I've shared on this platform about one of my clients, Dr. Nana Gazy. She's a medical doctor based in Ghana. How she had no online following, never created a digital product before. I helped her create her first digital product, which was an ebook. She launched it and made over $1,000 on her very first launch. You see, when I tell a stranger that story, it does not just prove that she was able to do it. It proves that somebody like them. So if you can relate to a person like that, you are busy, you have children, you don't have a lot of time, you didn't trust anybody online, you didn't even believe anybody would buy something, but you were able to create something, make a sale, make 1,000, like real money. I always laugh when I say real money, but it's like it's not made up money. It's not. It's I didn't pay her to say this. She actually launched and actually made $1,000. But that's the sort of story that will build trust with a complete stranger. You see, it's not, they're not buying because they know you. They're buying because you've been able to demonstrate that somebody who is like them got a result working with you. I hope that makes sense. So now, before I give you this strategy, I want to be very clear about who it's for. So this is for someone who already has a product. Okay, you have a product, or if you've been listening to me, you have the shell of a product. At least you have an idea that is specific enough that you can describe to somebody. You can talk about the problems that you can solve, even if that digital product is not fully built yet. Okay, because remember what we covered on Wednesday, and if you missed Wednesday, all the replays are up. You don't need to necessarily finish your digital product before you sell it. I talked about pre-selling. You need a clear promise of a transformation, and you need enough clarity of what you're going to give them, how you're going to give them, how it will help them, and confidence that you can actually deliver. Okay, the shell is enough to start the conversation. So if you are watching me, you're a complete beginner, but you don't even have an idea what you can create. You are new, I've just come up on your live feed and you're wondering, oh, really? People make money online with digital products, and you are like, what could I sell? What could I sell online? My AI niche finder guide is exactly what you need. Okay, so the link is up on the screen. This guide is full of ChatGPT prompts, which you can use with the free version of ChatGPT. It's going to pull out of you your life experience, work experience, your hobbies, your interests, what people say you are good at, all those types of questions. And then literally, I think it'll take you 15 minutes or less. Put that into ChatGPT and I give you the exact prompts to use, and it will show you what you can sell online. Okay, it's absolutely free, and the link is on the screen. If you're watching the replay, the link will be on the screen, but it will also be in the description or the first pinned comment. Okay, so if you don't have any idea what your product is, grab that. And if you have the idea now, but you don't know how to turn that into an actual product, then that's what the Jumpstart is for, the Digital Income Jumpstart. The link to that is also on the screen. Okay, walks you through step by step so that you don't get overwhelmed, you don't get confused. If you've never done this before and I'm showing you Canva and Gamma and all of these platforms, it can get a little bit confusing, right? But if you get the jump start, then you watch me, literally watch over my shoulder, step by step. I show you how to go from the idea to a product to putting it in your store. All right, and that's just $37. So grab that. Let me take that off the screen. Okay, now if you have your idea, even if it's just an outline. So this is the strategy. This is the trust building strategy that I want to give you for your first 30 days, 90 days, 30, 60, 90, just getting you started. Okay. So first, talk to your warm network. You're not talking to them to sell. You're talking to them to find somebody who has a problem and start having conversations. Be helpful. Share what you know. I'm not saying give everything away because you have something that you're selling, but because you know more about whatever the topic is, whatever your niche is, whatever problem you're solving, you can help the person. So have those conversations, share what you know. Show up as somebody who understands them and understands how to get them out of the problem that they have. Those conversations will naturally lead to people asking how they can work with you or how they can buy from you. Okay, so then that's the opening that you're looking for. So start with those conversations, then have the courage to ask them to buy, to pay for it. Okay, so I don't want you to start with a free client because a free client is very different from a paying client. They're completely different. Okay, so we want your first paid client, even if it's paying $17, $27, and the currency doesn't matter. It's up to you whether you are charging in dollars, euros, cedis, naira. Doesn't matter. The fact is that somebody is handing over money. It's a different kind of proof, because it tells you and it tells them that what you know has value. It's not just goodwill value, it's like proper market value. Okay, so I talked about this in quite a lot of depth on Wednesday. So you pre-sell before you build. Wednesday, yesterday. And so you have one person who says yes and pays you before your product is even finished. That payment is your first result, okay? And like I said, it's far more powerful than any testimonial from anybody you've helped for free, okay? Now, when you have that first real testimonial from a real paying client, then you share that result everywhere. Even if you have just one story, one success story told repeatedly is more powerful than 100 generic posts about your potential, about your product, and what you could do, right? You don't need to go famous. You don't need to go viral. You just need to be trusted. And that trust starts in the warm pond, okay? The warm pond is where the people already know you, not in the cold ocean, right? If you wanted to learn how to swim, you don't just jump into the sea. You would start in a pool, preferably a warm heated pool, okay? So start in familiar waters. I hope that makes sense. So question 3, and I actually quite get this very often in my, DMs, very, very often. How do I actually get people to see my content? I post and nothing happens, right? So if you've ever, so this is the digital marketing. If you've ever posted something online, something that you've worked on, something that you are proud of, and then nobody responded, you had absolutely nothing, crickets, no likes, no comments, no shares, just silence. I want you to know that almost everybody who has ever built anything online has felt exactly the same thing. Even the people who have 100K followers, the people who have millions of followers, they all started from zero. Okay, and I have personally felt it too. So I want to give you my honest answer. This is not my motivational speech, okay? Because I think this question deserves a little bit more than that. Just telling you to post better content. So let me share with you what happened to me personally on my journey. So when I started, I've talked about how I made $500,000 and how most of those sales, 90% or maybe even more of those sales came from organic traffic, people who knew us first with our first launch, and then people that our students referred. So in the same network, that's how we made $500,000. But now I was trying to get on social media, and I started with Instagram, and I was constantly trying to keep up. And Instagram is short reels, 6 seconds, 7 second reels. What am I going to say in 6 or 7 seconds? So I was watching all these people, following all these trends, add this trending audio, change this format. Oh my God, then the algorithm will shift. And everything that I was learning, by the time I watch something and implement it, it has changed. And I kept asking myself, am I doing this right? Why is nobody seeing it? And then this is what I eventually understood. You see, every platform has its own language. Every platform has its own rhythm, its own rules. And if you don't learn the language of that platform, you can post every single day and you'll be shouting into a vacuum. Okay. That's not a reflection of your efforts. It's just that your effort or your actions are a bit of a mismatch for the platform and the approach that they want. Okay. So let me tell you this. When you want to get a job in whatever career you're in, you went to secondary school. In fact, you started from primary school, secondary school, university. You maybe have additional degrees. Some of you even have PhDs just to qualify to do a certain role. Think of how many years you invested, how much money you invested, how much time and effort you invested into getting the role that you have now. And now you want a second source of income. But then when it comes to building that second source of income, building something online, you, the same person who spent years trying to get your job, you want another income, but you preferably paying more than the current job you have, right? You expect to be able to show up on a platform, you've not studied the platform, you don't know how it works, you've not learned, you've not invested much time and effort, and you want to get results right away. That's like somebody who doesn't want to go to uni, doesn't want to qualify, and wants to just jump into your career profession and get a job right away, and is upset that they didn't get a job. Do you understand? You look at them and say, you have some dues to pay. There's something that you need to learn. There's some time you need to invest, okay? And that learning curve is normal. It's okay. This is not a get rich quick type of thing. I think if you're coming into digital marketing and making money online, come in with the right mindset, okay? Can you do this? Yes. Should you do this? Yes. But recognize that it's not going to be quick money, money that you make overnight, right? There's a learning curve, and that's okay. Learning to create content is like learning to swim. This is coming from somebody who is not a very good swimmer, right? But we wanted to go on holiday a couple of years ago, and the whole family went to learn how to swim because we wanted to be able to swim on holiday. You can read books, you can watch videos, but until you actually get into the pool with an instructor, there's no way you actually know how to swim. I hope that's making sense. So when you first get in, maybe when I was trying to swim, they were trying to teach me how to float. It's funny. It was difficult. I didn't trust that if they leave me, I will not sink to the bottom. Okay, and instead of lying flat, I would always try and bring my legs up to sort of stand. It takes a while to get comfortable to know how to do it. You might swallow a little bit of water. You might get water in your eyes. All of that awkwardness. But if you keep at it, you eventually learn how to swim. That's how it is with creating content. Okay, you have to be willing to make those awkward mistakes at the beginning, and you have to be willing to keep going, because every effort compounds. Every swimming lesson, we had quite a number of swimming lessons. The first one, not so great. Second one, not so great. Third one, okay, we're getting somewhere. Fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. I don't remember how many sessions we had before we went on holiday, but I was able to do something when I went on holiday. Okay, I wasn't just sitting there with my feet in the water. I was able to get in and move from one side to the next. All right. That's how it is with creating content online. Every piece of content teaches you something. Every post, even the ones that don't get views, it means something. It builds your understanding of how your audience is, how that platform works. So the mistake is you give up before that compounding kicks in and starts to push you forward, right? And build that audience for you. I hope that makes sense, right? So for me personally, I realized that Instagram was not the place for me, because creating shorts, 7-second content, I didn't know how to put enough value and depth into it to be actually very helpful. So I switched to YouTube. And on YouTube, I'm able to create meaningful long form content that, like this evening, is 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It's not 7 seconds. 7 seconds is very, very short. It's not entertainment. It's actually giving value. It's actually helping somebody who is a beginner make their first money online. Okay. So by switching to YouTube, I was able to create meaningful content and then repurpose my long form content into shorts. So for me, it was easier to create long form content and then use AI, use platforms to repurpose that content into short term content. Some of you might be the complete opposites. The idea of sitting down to create a 10-minute video, 5-minute video, 30-minute video causes you to break out in cold sweat, but you can create amazing, 5 second, 7 second, 10 second, 15 second videos. So you need to find your space. You need to find what works for you. Okay. I hope that makes sense. And if it's TikTok, try it, give it a bit of time, see if it works for you. Learn quickly, fail quickly, decide quickly, analyze what's going on, make a decision. Are you staying to see it through? Make sure you give it enough time. If it's not working, I think I was on Instagram for, I don't know, 3, maybe 6 months before I realized that, you know what, this is not working. And in those 6 months, I had over 10K cumulative views. So I was making some progress. But for me personally, creating that content was very difficult. I wasn't able to come up with new things, because it was just too quick, too fast paced for me, right? So see what works for you, try it out, find your groove, be willing to learn how everything works, and then you find your space. I know this is a very long-winded answer to the question, but I hope that this helps you. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next question. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, so I'm just looking at my notes here. I still have a bit more to say about this. So here's the content rule that applies regardless of which platform you choose. Most beginners post content that's about them. Okay, so this is a good point that I forgot to make. Okay, so most beginners post content that's about them, not about the person that they are trying to reach, right? So you post something like, I just launched my new program. I'm so excited about this new product. Here's what I've been working on. The person sitting on the other side of the screen might read this and think, good for you, but what has that got to do with me? And they might keep scrolling. The content that actually stops the scroll, is content that will make your ideal buyer feel seen. Content that names the specific problem they're having, content that uses the words that they are speaking out loud in their head, right? Content that says, if you've been thinking about building something online, in my case, but you feel like you don't know enough to start, this is for you. For me, that is the sort of content that will stop the scroll, because it's not about, I'm not posting about me, I'm talking about them. Okay, so here's the rule for every piece of content you create. Before you post it, ask yourself one question: why would my ideal buyer stop scrolling for this? If you can't answer that clearly, rewrite that first line. That first line is called the hook. Rewrite that first line until it speaks to your ideal client. So that first line is either a door that they walk through or a wall that they bounce off. You see, it should either make it about them, make it specific, make it feel like you are reading their secret diary. And if you want to go deep in this, if you want to learn how to create content for Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and even to be able to run ads, Digital Wealth Academy covers all of that, okay? Digital Wealth Academy covers all of that, not just theory, but people who have actually been able to grow platforms, grow audiences on those platforms and make money doing it, have come together, and they teach you how to do this step by step, how each platform works, how to create content, what is a reel, what is a carousel, right? So this is not something that I can teach you fully in one night, but if you grab DWA, it takes you through it completely. So the link for DWA is up on the screen, and it's $497 for lifetime access. And the content is constantly being updated. Okay, so if you join through my link, this is a product that I recommend. It's an affiliate product, but if you join through my link on the link that is on the screen, then I'll also give you a 30-minute clarity call with me personally. And what I do in that clarity call is I show you which platform, well, we talk about which platform to start with based on your specific situation. We talk about what you should be doing in the first 30 days, what you should be doing in the 60 days, what you should be doing in 90 days. And I show you where to start, and I show you what videos to watch, giving you a personalized roadmap so that you are not just left on your own in the wilderness. Okay, go and watch the videos and you don't know which one to watch and in what order, and you do things out of order. Showing you exactly what you do, okay, in that 30 minutes, and give you a personalized plan. But then remember, so the link is on the screen. Let me just quickly take that off now. I think it will also be in the description. All right, so I've said quite a lot here, but overall, what I want to say to this question is, regardless of the platform that you choose, just be patient with it, okay? Don't give up. Make sure that you're putting in genuine efforts. Don't say, I'm doing Instagram, and post one reel every week and then say it's not working. That's not how Instagram works. You need volume and you need consistency. You see, don't say you're doing YouTube and you don't take time to record a good video, edit it properly, make sure your thumbnail is good, and then you say YouTube is not working for me, right? Whichever platform you choose, give it your best shot, give it your best effort, and give it enough time see if it's working. And if it's not working, make a decision, move on, try something else. Okay. So the DWA link will be in the description. So grab that if you're looking for something that goes in depth and shows you how to do multiple platforms for a very, very, very good price. Okay. It's easily worth everything in there. If you were to buy it individually, will be worth over 5K, honestly. But you only get it for like $500. Okay. So question 4, this is the one that trips people up even after they've figured everything else. So what's question 4? How do I price my digital products? I'm scared of charging too much and I'm scared of charging too little. This is a very good question. So let's talk about pricing. Pricing is one of the most emotionally loaded decisions that a beginner makes, okay? And a lot of people get it wrong. And it's not because they don't understand numbers, but it's because they are pricing from fear. They are scared that if they charge too much, nobody will buy. And they're also scared that if they charge too little, then it doesn't reflect properly on them, like nobody will take them seriously. Both fears are valid, but both of those fears are also the reason that you are getting stuck. Okay, so let me give you a framework that actually works. Your price is not about what feels comfortable to you. Price is about the value of the outcome that the person is going to get, the value of the outcome that you are going to deliver with your digital product. So if your product helps somebody save, let's say, 500 pounds or dollars, I'm in the UK, so I'll say pounds, but I still price my products in dollars. So if you see me mixing the currencies, that's the only reason. Okay, so let's just go with pounds for this example. If your product helps somebody save, let's say, 500 pounds this month, then your product, you could easily charge anywhere from $97 and above, because they are getting at least 5 times what they paid for that product. Okay, if your product helps somebody get a job paying them 70K a year, your product is worth thousands, because the return on that investment in just like 1 year's salary, even not 1 year, the first 2 months salary, let's say you charge them a couple £1,000 and they're able to get a 70K job from earning 38,000, they can jump almost double to 60, 70, 80. The first couple of months will pay for that, 3 or 4,000 that you charged them. So they're getting 20 times what you're charging. Do you see? Compared to the value of what they'll get, the outcome. So the question you should be asking is not how do I feel, what's my sentimental value of my product, is my first product. No. The question you should be asking is not what is my product worth to me. The right question is what is the outcome worth to that individual. Okay, now for your first digital product, what I recommend is it doesn't even matter about the worth. Okay, start with a low ticket, something between $17, even $7. Let's just start $7 to $47. And there's some sort of buyer psychology with the numbers 47, 37, 27. People have done research and it's been proven that people buy when you price at those numbers. Okay, I don't know the psychology, but that's why I keep saying 7, 27, 37. All right. So it's not about the price because it's so low, but the fact that at that low price, it makes 3 things become easier for your buyer. Okay, number 1, the decision to buy. They can make it very quickly because it's only costing them, I don't know, $7 is what, a cup of coffee, or it doesn't cost that much. So they're able to make the buying decision quickly without needing to think too much. Number 2, if more people are buying, then you start getting real buyers, and real buyers will give you real feedback. And you need that feedback to improve on your product. That's the great thing about creating a digital product. You can improve on it every time. What the version of your product that you sold a month ago or 2 months ago doesn't have to stay the same. You can improve it, fix things, go in there, change things, because it's a digital product. Okay. And then the third thing that becomes possible is that those buyers then become your warm audience. So if you want to offer something of greater value, maybe you go a little bit more in depth and solve a deeper problem for them. You can price that higher, and the people who bought your low tickets now become like the I don't know if the word is the channel or the funnel. Like, you can sell your higher price product to them. They've bought from you before, they got good value, they trust you more. And if you're able to solve a small problem for them, they'll trust you to solve a bigger problem for them. Okay. So your low ticket is something that you can price, let's say $7 to 47. It gets people into the door. Then you can create a mid-ticket product, something between, let's say, okay, so I said 50. So anything above 50, 97, 67, 97 to, let's say, under $500. Okay. Or even some people consider mid tickets to be all the way up to $997. So let's just say up to 1,000. Okay. Or you can have a higher value, high ticket that provides even more value, or something that's like more hands-on or more personalized, or more done for you, done with you. Okay, that you can charge over £1,000, $1,000 for. I hope that's making sense. If you are following me, I hope that's making sense. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Okay. So if you're a beginner and you're starting, you don't need to create your mid ticket, low ticket, high tickets. You don't need to have created all of those before you launch. No, 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 no. If you don't have a lot of depth in the niche or the topic, start with a low ticket. If you have a lot of authority, you're an expert, people already see you as like a leader, you are an executive, and you're teaching about, leadership or mentorship or something like that, you can start with a mid ticket. But if you are this is like your first time in digital marketing and you're just sort of dipping your toes in to see what it is, start with low ticket. You can always increase your price after. Okay. I hope that all that makes sense. So if you're just joining us, we've gone over 35 minutes. If you're just joining us, my name is Nad. You're watching Digital Income Night School. It's absolutely free every weeknight, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. GMT or 10 p.m. UK time, British Standard Time. And it's free, absolutely free. You just have to register. So the registration link will be in the description. I'm showing it on the screen right now. Yeah, the link is on the screen. So go there, register, and you also get my AI niche finder guide. All right. Okay. So if you have questions as I'm going through, please put your questions in the chat. I have a little screen where I see all of the questions. So ask me your questions if you have any as I'm going through. So let's go through one more question. This is one that keeps people stuck the longest. Okay. So maybe you've tried to create a digital product before. You've tried some sort of make money online thing. Maybe it was like Amazon KDB or drop shipping, or you tried something, you tried it before and it didn't work. Why should I try again? Why will it be different this time? Okay. So let's take a minute, because I think if you're asking me this question, first of all, hats off to you for trying. Okay. It takes a lot of honesty to admit that you've tried before, and it takes courage to still be watching me and saying that, okay, I tried it before, it didn't work, how can I do it better? You didn't just give up. You want to try again, but you just want to know what to do differently. Okay. So I'm not going to give you the motivational speech. um let's dig a little bit deeper into what could have gone wrong. Okay, because in almost every case where somebody has tried to build an income online and stopped, I don't think the problem was them. It was the order in which they did the thing. Okay, it's very possible that you built a product that was maybe too broad. I've talked about that this week. Maybe you tried to sell to complete strangers, and I've already shown you how hard that is, because you don't have any proof, you don't have any credibility. You tried to sell to strangers before you had proof. So I've talked about that also. Maybe you were trying to do too many things at once, and then actually what ended up happening is nothing got finished. Okay, I talked about that on Monday. Maybe you were spending too much time learning, consuming information, but you didn't put that into practice. Maybe you didn't actually take action, right? So you are considering all the time you spent learning as part of the process, but actually all of that was like prep, you never actually launched, you never actually put something in the marketplace and gave it enough chance to succeed. Okay. Or, or, and this is actually one of the common problems that I see, is you were trying to do it completely alone. You were trying to piecemeal videos from YouTube for free, and you didn't actually invest in having somebody show you how to do it. Somebody showing you, like looking at your product idea, telling you whether your price makes sense, telling you do it this way and not this way because XYZ. A voice of experience guiding you. Okay, you didn't have anybody who's done it before helping you through those sticky moments, and those sticky moments will come. If you're now learning how to make money online, you don't look, you are very likely to hit a wall. And when you hit a wall alone, it can stop you from continuing. Okay, there's nobody to encourage you, to show you this is the way round. This is the way around it. This is how to avoid this issue. Okay, so the people who make it online, they are not smarter than you, they are not more talented than you, they are not more deserving than you. It could be that they had better support. Okay, somebody who showed them, do it this way, don't do it this way. Somebody who showed them how to validate before they wasted time building it. I hope all of that makes sense. So, not necessarily getting, not more information, not a better idea, but the right support at the right moment. And I've talked about this, that I have invested in the knowledge that I have now about, strategy, digital marketing strategy. Do it this way, don't do it this way. I've bought courses and I've watched them. I didn't just buy them and put them on a shelf. I've watched, learned how to do it. Okay. I tried Facebook ads. In fact, I paid people to do Facebook ads, and that didn't work. I had different ideas of how to launch businesses. I've started multiple businesses before this one. I've been trying to start a business since 2012. I've tried food business, gotten into Asda. What haven't I done? I've sold at food fairs. I've done so many different things. Okay. When it really clicked for us, when I finally built a funnel, right? I think that's what was different with my husband's first launch. I actually built a funnel, a very, very simple, very basic webinar funnel, but it was a funnel. And it was a structured way in which I took people from coming onto that webinar, talking about his offer on the webinar, and sending them to a pre-built page, sales page, checkout page. Like, building that automation made a big difference, right? And it was, like I'm saying, it wasn't until I had that system, and it wasn't until I was paying for coaches and everything, that everything changed. So if you're watching and you don't know my backstory, 2023, when I was diagnosed with 3 chronic illnesses, I was not able to work. When I say I was not able to work, I don't mean that I was able to work, but I was not, like, I actually couldn't do a lot of things. And the business that we had built, this online business, is still made over £170,000 because of the funnels, the systems that we had built in. I hope all of that is making sense. So it didn't require me to do a lot of the heavy lifting because I had systemized things. Emails were going out, people were getting sent to make payments, people were getting added to our WhatsApp group automatically. A lot of things had been systemized, right? That system made a big difference. So here's my answer to you if you're wondering what's going to be different. It will be different this time if you do it in the right order. It will be different this time if you have support. It will be different this time if you validate the niche and the topic and the product before you build it. It will be different this time if you start selling to your warm audience. Don't be afraid to sell to your warm audience. It'll be different this time if you start aim to make your first sale to your warm audience, get your first paying client, leverage that feedback testimonial, and use that to get your cold audience, strangers, to buy from you. Okay, that's what's going to make a difference this time around. That's what's going to make it possible for you to succeed. And if you want to create that first digital product, then grab the digital income jumpstart, okay? Because it's built in a specific order and it shows you what to do. It's not just another course. It's a real live workshop that you follow along with prompts, AI prompts that help you get things done faster. A system that you can follow literally step by step, okay, in the right sequence. So I've got a fly here trying to okay. All right, so I've answered the top. These are the very common 5 questions that I get. I'm looking at the comments and reactions. Does anybody have any other question that they want me to answer? Please put it in the chat. Something that has, occurred to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or maybe even whilst I was talking right now. If there's anything, please put it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. I'll give it a few minutes. So whilst I wait, give it a few minutes. It's 46 now. So today we've gone quite okay. All right, before I let you go, let me just say something very quickly. So every question this evening had sort of the same thing underneath it. You want to start, you just want to know, like, how should you do it? How should you do it the proper way? Okay, it's not a little thing, it's a big thing. And that's exactly what the Jumpstart is supposed to give you. It doesn't just tell you what to do, it explains to you why you should do it in the right order. And you actually watch me doing it. So it's not just you should do XYZ, but then you don't see somebody practically doing it. So I build it right there live in the workshop, okay? And I show you how to do it. So if you want a second income stream, if you want an income stream that does not depend on you showing up every day, like in 2023 for us, where we had built our online income stream. And when I was unwell, it still made 170K. If you are not well and your income is going to disappear because you can no longer go to work, I don't care how much you are earning, whether you're earning 20K or 100K or 200K, right? If your income is going to disappear because you can no longer work, you absolutely should be thinking about building a second income stream that doesn't depend on you showing up. And digital products, one of the best ways that I know to create something that makes money whilst you sleep, right? You build it once, you build it once and build systems around it. You can actually create a passive income source, okay? Whether you're awake or asleep, resting, somebody finds it's right thing for them, they buy it, and you just get notifications, just notifications, okay? So if you want to get the jump start, okay, so I've put the 2 links up, okay? If you want to know how to build your first digital product, grab the Jumpstart, just $37. It's normally $97. If you want to go deeper, you already know you want to go deeper, and you want me to show you how to what to do in your first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, then grab DWA, because you will then get my clarity call where we go deeply. Like, I look at your specific situation. How much time do you have to work on this? What do you know? What should you start with? This is what you should do. Watch this video. Some of you I've told start with mid-ticket because of the depth of knowledge that you have, because of who you are and how experienced you are in your niche. Some of you I've said start with low tickets. So it's not necessarily a one size fits all. So if you want that 30-minute clarity call with me, where I show you exactly what income stream to do. And DWA teaches you 19 different ways of making money online. Don't go and start with all 19, right? Like I said, don't start in the wrong order, but it can compound. So we have digital products, we have income coming from affiliate marketing. There are different ways, multiple income streams, okay? So if you want to grab both of those, the links are on the screen. They'll also be in the description. Tomorrow is the last night of week 2, and I'm just going to be sharing with you like WhatsApp screenshots from real people who went through digital income jumpstart, who were sitting there with me as I went through the workshop live. And some of those people took it a step further and actually created their digital products. So I'm going to share all of those messages with you to encourage you, to show you that it's very possible. Okay, so I'm going to take myself completely out of the way and let the results speak for themselves. So I will see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. GMT, 10 p.m. UK time. And every week, every Thursday, I answer questions. So doesn't matter when your questions occur to you, just come and type them under one of my live videos. I will see it and I'll answer those questions for you. All right, today we've almost gone to 1 hour. I want to say thank you so much for being here with me, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.